that it's not about saying we reject. It's not that we reject. We don't reject hadith. We treat hadith with relativism, as Imam Malik does in the Muwatta. So Imam Malik's book is the most authentic book of hadith on earth, according to at least several dons of hadith. Let's especially the Malikiya, Qadi Iyad, you will see Abu Bakr ibn Arabi, Ibn Abd al-Bar, all the Malikiya hold this, that Imam Malik's book is the number one book of hadith. Okay. Imam Shafi'i's testimony that there is not a book on earth after the Quran that is like the Muwatta. Now, some people say that's because Bukhari hadn't authored his book yet. Sure, this is not a diss to Bukhari, but it's just to state that even Imam Bukhari said that the most authentic chain on earth is Imam Malik's golden chain. So Imam Malik brings several hadith from his golden chain, and then on certain occasions, not always, but on some occasions, he will say, here is this hadith, ليس عليه العمل ببلدنا. In Medina, ببلدنا. Whose balad? The city of the Prophet. He says, in Medina, we don't act according to this hadith. Kya baat. Allah. Style. Only Imam Malik could have done that. See, anybody else tried to do it, they would have called him a deviant. They would have called him. But Imam Malik, that's ultimate boss level. See, nobody could touch him in hadith. You know, there's Imam Bukhari has a discussion on what was his name? Dawood ibn Hussein, a rawi, a narrator, and Imam Bukhari is not happy with him. He says that and he wants to criticize him. And then he says, Lola Haybatul Imam Malik. He says, if it wasn't for, he says, the fact that Imam Malik transmitted from this person, I bow my head in awe and am unable to criticize this narrator despite wanting to. But the fact that Imam Malik accepted him. Legends, yeah. Legends in Islam. True leadership. See, those are the, you see, leadership, we must admire leadership. And everybody follows someone. If you are to choose an imam, you know, these are my thoughts, okay? You don't need to accept this. But if you are to choose an imam who will guide you in a broad methodology, don't look to people like Ibn Taymiyyah or people like Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah. They're scholars of Islam, came about 700 years ago. But you will find yourself at times in great peril. And we'll see, because of this discussion of satanic verses, you're going to see these names come up again in a very problematic way. Look to legends like Imam Malik. They were in the time of the Salaf. The prophecy of the Prophet that they will be the alim of Medina, alim of Ahl al-Medina. And Imam Malik teaches you hadith relativism. You see, when he's when he's bringing the hadith, he's not disrespecting. See, there's a big difference. We don't disrespect anything. We don't disrespect elements of this tradition, of this legacy. They carry an honor, a sanctity. Imam Malik is bringing what is called a sahih, the most sahih hadith that exists, the most sahih chain that exists. Because what makes a hadith sahih? The 5 conditions that يرويه عدل ضابط عن مثله معتمد في ضبطه ونقله. That's the point, yeah. So that you see the 5 conditions and it's all to do with the chain. So okay, and there is as well عدم الشذوذ والعلة. And this is something which, anyway, it's for another discussion, because people then vary how they, what is it? Is that talking about the chain or the matan? Really, it should be the matan as well, which many do accept in principle. But so here, Imam Malik's bringing this. He's respecting it. He's putting it in his book. He's not disrespecting the tradition. He's bringing it. He's putting it in his own book. And with that, he's explaining his methodology. He's giving you an example, but he's explaining indicatively. He's bringing this hadith and saying, ليس عليه العمل ببلدنا, in our city, in the city, al-Madinatul Munawwara, we don't act according to this hadith. By that, he's teaching you that there will be several ahadith that come outside of this book as well. His book is the most authentic book by testimony of, especially these chains, by testimony of Imam Bukhari, Silsilatul Dhahabiyah, saying, his book has other chains as well, by the way. It doesn't mean that, but he brings from this chain as well. It says, in this city, we don't act according to this hadith. Do we disrespect it? No. No need for disrespect. Just understand that whatever's gone wrong, maybe somebody, Imam Malik was with Abu Yusuf, and Abu Yusuf tried to question the adhan of the people of Medina, because the adhan of the people of Medina just had Allahu Akbar twice, not 4 times. That's the adhan of Ahlul Iraq, which is common today. So the adhan of Ahlul Medina and the Malikiyah, so in Morocco and these places, they only do Allahu Akbar twice. So Abu Yusuf did have a lot of tongue-in-cheek humor and sarcasm, and so he says, Ajib, Ahlul Madinati la ya'rifun al-adhan. He says, Ajib, that the people of Medina don't know the adhan. Imam Malik's response to him is epic. He says, Amma adhanu yawmin wa layla fala adri. He says, maybe there is an adhan somewhere. Maybe the Prophet went on a journey. One day he did something and somebody picked it up and taught it. Maybe we weren't there. Adhanu yawmin wa layla. Maybe for one day, one night, something happened. Ho bhi sakta hai. He says, but as to that which was announced in the streets of Medina, which the children learnt from their fathers, who taught their children, which we hear today, announced 5 times a day in an unbroken succession, then that is this adhan that you are hearing now. And with that, Amalu Ahlul Medina rests its case. This is the practice of the people of Medina. It's a gold mine that Imam Malik taught us. So this is a methodology. Okay, they say, Isharon mein samjha diya, hum dil ka ye haal karte. In the poem, it says, Uthakar phool ki patti, nazakat se masal dali. That she plucked a rose petal and with such elegance crushed it in front of us. Nazakat se masal dali. इशारों में समझा दिया, हम दिल का ये हाल करते. Symbolically, she explained to us that this is what we do to the hearts. Baaz aa jao. That's what's going to happen. So that danger, enter at your own risk. Huh? It's one of those. So right now, so that's the methodology. So it's not about disdain, or it's about understanding that the practice of Medina, the methodology, that there will be hadith, there will be sunnah. There may be an overlap, but not every hadith not every sunnah was documented, And not everything that was documented was a sunnah. And people made mistakes as well along the way. You accept that as well. And I tell you, Imam Malik taught you that as well. See, now you're going to say, look at this. There is a rawi that Imam Malik transmitted from, Abdul Karim ibn Abil Makharid. Later on, he came to realize that this person used to make mistakes. And Imam Malik says, غرتنا كثرة سجوده بالمسجد. She's teaching you, see, this is the incident, قضية عين, but the methodology. See, this is the actual thing, but the indication. He says, I was misled by his excessive sujood and prayer in the masjid. Imam Malik is telling you, I made a mistake. No, I made a mistake. I was misled. I documented something from him thinking it was a hadith. But it wasn't. I was misled by the fact that he was a good man. See, what is that teaching you? Don't think it's always out of malice. Sometimes it may be. Sometimes it's just people making mistakes. He said he used to pray so much in the masjid. When he said the Prophet of Allah said this, I took note of it. He was wrong. The Prophet did not say that. I was misled to document. There's so much volumes can be written on how. This is why I so favor the method of the School of Medina. Let's move on, people.